What's going on, everyone? It is Paul, the 920 Trader with 920 Trading and Trading Decoded. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024, and this is how the 920 worked out with SPY today. But before we get into that, folks, if you like our videos, please go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way you can be notified when we drop new content, which is just about every day and sometimes on the weekends. Don't forget to leave us a comment and share with your friends and neighbors. We would greatly appreciate that. So let's get to the chart, folks. So the first thing we're going to look at pre-market high. So pre-market high happened relatively late in pre-market, happened about 9:15. So we got pre-market high sitting up there at 506.32. Got pre-market low way down at 502.26. Folks, we got $4 worth of range in pre-market. When we have that kind of range, $3-4, we're looking for a big day. I mean, we're looking for it. Now, we don't want to have any kind of bias, thinking, okay, we're going to start out pre-market high, we're going to go all the way to pre-market low, and then we'll be done for the day. We don't know if that's going to happen. We have no earthly idea if that's going to happen. That's why we use technical analysis, folks. That's why we study, and that's why we do. That's why we have a plan, and that's why we backtest our plan, and that's why we understand the probabilities, folks. And again, the probabilities is nothing more than one thing, the likelihood of one thing happening over another thing happening, and that's what we use in the market. So now, I do have a couple other areas on here marked, with the exception of pre-market high, pre-market low. Every line is a 30-minute zone with the exception of zones that are clearly marked. So we have thin volume below this area. We love that thin volume, and I was using 30-minute candles to get that thin volume. So we have thin volume below this area, and we have thin volume above this area right here. So let's see how this thing played out today. So first candle out of the gate, folks. We had another giant candle. First thing out of the gate today, we had almost 1 million shares traded on this first candle of the day. So I'm thinking, you know what? We had one of those just a couple of days ago, and then it just ran down. So what did I do? I said, you know what? If we get below VWAP, I am going to go into puts, and we did. So what were we, 5, 6, 7 minutes into the day? 4 minutes into the day, it's pretty early for me. But again, we had a fresh cross to the downside, folks. Fresh cross. First red candle was actually right here. But I wanted to breach VWAP back to the downside. Now remember, folks, when our edge presents itself, we are compelled to put on the trade because we never know what's going to happen. We have to take our wins. We have to take our losses. That's just the reality. I gave this thing a little bit of room. We ran down here to this 505.25. I thought because we breached VWAP, I thought we'd be able to go down here and take out this 504.54. You know what? I was wrong. This was a losing trade. Again, folks, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's a single trade, and we are not reliant on a single trade, but rather a series of trades over time to make it as a trader. I gave this thing a little bit of room to breathe, but as soon as we had that double cross to the upside, and I'm thinking, I could have used that swing high over here, but at the same time, we had some momentum. We had a little bit of volume push, which again, you can tell the relative volume of these candles. The wider they are, the more volume they have. And you can see the volume bars down below here. So we had a decent volume on this candle. We had 175,000 shares. But again, we tested this 505.25, came up through VWAP and probably the POC at the same time. So maybe even perhaps a golden cross to the upside, which is going to be a 9, 20, VWAP, and POC all in the same candle. My guess is it probably did that on that candle. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm taking myself out of the trade at a loss. And folks, I don't care. I'll take the win. I'll take the loss. It doesn't matter. We're not reliant on a single trade, but rather a series of trades over time. Folks, it just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So what happened, folks? We got that next move. We got that cross to the downside right in here. And I wasn't going to get suckered into this one. I mean, we had a double cross here. We had a cross back to the downside at these same levels. So at these same levels, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get this wick down. I'm going to wait until we get a cross below or a close below this specific level. And again, folks, this wasn't a 30-minute level or a 10-minute level or a 5-minute. This was nothing other than there's thin volume above this area. And again, took the puts right in here. And then it moved against me almost immediately, but then kind of a fun thing happened. We came up. We tested VWAP. We tested the 20 back to the upside, and then it just started going down and down and down and down. And we got above the VWAP, or I'm sorry, we got above the 9, but I thought, you know what? I checked my higher time frames, looked at that 3-minute, and we were still pushing down. So I said, you know what? I'll use the 20 to get out. Now, here's the funny thing that happens when you're in a trade like this, when it immediately goes against you. So from 505.07 all the way up to 62. So you're talking about a decent range, moving against you. But again, I'm using that view up and I'm using that 20 as my absolute stop to get out of the trade. When trades go against you immediately, first thing in the morning or at any time, when they move against you, it's hard to get back on the right side of those trades. So you need a lot of room back to the downside. I wasn't watching my P&L, but I went back and looked at it after the fact. And I wasn't positive until we got into this area in here because the play moved against me. But again, folks, it doesn't matter. It seriously doesn't matter. It's a single trade. A single trade doesn't matter, and we're not relying on a single trade, but rather a series of trades over time. So again, it just kind of bounced around. And gosh, where did I close out that trade? I know I closed it out somewhere in here. Well, let's just see where I closed out that trade. Oh, I closed it out right here. There it is. There it is right here. My check mark is right here. I thought we were going to be able to get this pushed back to the downside 503.04. I was wrong, and that's okay, folks. So I took my trade off at this point when on the breach of that 503. The 9 right in here, only because we're having a hard time pushing down to this next level. So it's right there. I had one of my guys, I said, one of my members, and said, what was your percentage win on that? And I think it was either 54 or 55%. I said, it's only like 54 or 55%. And he said, only? And I said, yeah, but I was probably down about 25 or 30% on the trade. Folks, a 54 or 55% trade is a great trade, any way you slice it. But we have to allow the market to take us out of those plays, folks. Most people, when they see green for that first time, they jump out of that trade. Okay, I hit this level down here. I'm out. They don't, give themselves a pullback. I asked the question earlier in this group. I said, folks, how many in here, and I've asked this question a number of times, I've even brought it up in my videos before. How many of you are willing to let a green trade turn red? And you're in a trade for a few minutes and it's a green trade. And a bunch of the folks said, no, I don't want that green trade to turn red. And some said, yes. I'm of the opinion, folks, that I don't care. If I have a green trade that turns red, I don't care. It's a single trade. I would rather lose money on a trade, okay? And we go back to this one right in here. It would have been easy to close out this trade right in here, the first trade of the day, folks. A winning trade. You're thinking, why didn't you close out that trade? Here's why I didn't close out that trade, folks, because what happens if we get down below this level and it keeps on running? What happens? You already know the answer. The answer to that is, well, I made 20 cents on the trade or 15 or whatever that was, and that's fine. If you want to scalp moves, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. If you're a scalper, scalp the moves, get out of the trade. Or you want to hit that first level, get out, fine. Hit that first level, get out of the trade. I thought we'd be able to push a little bit lower. We didn't. I took the loss. Oh, well, again, it doesn't matter. So again, folks, I'd rather lose money on a trade than potentially miss those big trades. I don't want to miss that big trade, folks. Now, we're going to take our singles, our doubles, our triples, our home runs, our grand slams, but we also have to be willing to take a ground out, a pop out, a strikeout. You have to be willing to take your losses also, folks. I will promise you this: if you take your trade off the table every time you hit just 20 cents or the next level down, you're never going to hit those big trades, and that's fine. I'm not faulting anybody for taking small scalps along the way. I'm not faulting anybody at all. That's not my style. My style is to say, okay, we got to cross to the downside. Let's see what happens. at least play the 920, at least see if we can push down a little bit more, a little bit more. And guess what? We finally breached that 9 and the 20 to the upside. I closed out the trade. It was a losing trade. But in order to be a 920 trader, we have to trust our 9, and we have to trust our higher time frames, and we have to trust our 20. So that's why, again, I have trades all the time that go from green to red. But I will tell you this: if I punch out of a trade every time I see green, I'm never going to open myself up for those big trades. And I really, really like the big trades. Am I swinging for the fences every time? Absolutely not. But I want to take what the market is willing to give me, folks. Whether that's a single or a double, a triple, a home run, a grand slam, a strikeout, a pop out, it doesn't matter to me, folks. A single trade or a trade by trade basis doesn't matter to me. Okay, so just kind of get that out of the way. Okay, so took the trade off the table right in here. Next trade, gosh, I didn't take anything right in here. I missed this right in here because I think I was maybe, just stepped away for a few minutes again. Missed this trade right in here. Caught this double cross to the downside in here, and we let this puppy run. This was a really, really nice trade back to the downside. Again, this trade right in here turned red just a little bit, maybe for the first few minutes. Got through this level down here. Again, trust that 9. Trusted a little bit too long. Had we breached this 50304 back to the upside, I'm out of that trade. But I thought, you know what? Let's see if we can push through that pre-market low. And we did. We got some nice volume on that push back to the downside. And again, I was looking at a higher time frame, and I was also looking at this 50304. Why didn't you close it out here on this double cross to the upside? Not enough momentum, just a little pullback. I don't care about pullbacks, folks. And again, I thought we'd be able to push down. And the question is, why didn't I close down here? Well, I didn't know that we were going to not be able to get to this next pivot point down below. Had no earthly idea. So my specific strategy says, okay, if we're pushing down, we're going to ride that 9 down to our next level. Well, we didn't get that next level. We closed inside the 9. I said, you know what? I'm taking the trade off the table. Again, a very, very nice trade. So I had that one loss, and then I took these 2 really, really nice wins. This was a decent win. This trade over here was a decent win. This was a really, really nice win in here. And then the rest of the day, what happened? We just kind of bounced around. I missed some trades because I was doing different things. I missed a really, really nice run to the upside. That was really, 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 really nice. And then I missed this banger back to the downside, folks. But there were plays all day. Now, this was a big time counter trend trade. I mean, you're running, $5, $6, $7 back to the downside, whatever it was. Let's see. So we're running $7 to the downside, folks. $7. So this is a counter trend trade. It's absolutely a counter trend trade. Unless you're just playing directly off this pivot point or play a fishtail, something like this. Counter trend trade. And then I missed it back to the downside. I don't know what I was doing. It was getting pretty late in the day for me. But I missed it back to the downside. The only excuse is there's none. I just wasn't playing it. It'd been a good day at this point, and I just want to kind of sit in my hands for the rest of the day. There were setups late in the day, folks. There were setups late in the day. But after we have these big days like these, folks, late in the day, it's hard to get trades. Now this, again, folks, this is an hour and 15 minutes before close. You want to talk about a banger beyond all bangers? I mean, this trade right here, an absolute massive, massive, massive winning trade. I wasn't in it. Only because, my preference is to trade the first couple hours of the day and then power hour. So power hour happens right in the middle of this trade. And there's no way I'm taking something in the middle of a trade, folks. I'm going to wait for my setup. And then we get into power hour, and our first trade was back to the ups. So again, power hour starts right in here. I'm not taking anything mid-play. I'm waiting for a setup. And at this point, it was like, I just don't trust anything in here because number one, we're right at the POC. We got the POC sitting right in here. VWAP, hey, is it possible to make a VWAP run? Yeah, it's possible. Didn't know. I mean, had no earthly idea if we were going to make a VWAP run or not. But I can tell you this: the last 4 days, this is the first time in the first 4 day stretch that I can remember. And I've been trading options for several years. This is the first time that I can remember that we have had 4 days in a row where we didn't have really anything at the end of the day. Generally, will be able to pick up a play at the end of the day 3 out of 5 days. But it just happens, 4 days in a row. There's nothing there for us to trade. As far as a really, really nice setup late in the day, yeah, you could say, yeah, there's a nice setup off this pivot point here and then ride this up, 85. You got $1 to the upside, but not with this action right in here. With this price action in here, folks, this was just one of those days that it said, let me take your premium and donate it to the market makers. That's all this was in here, folks. This was a donation time. After not playing anything after the first couple hours, again, missed some moves. 920 played out. It always plays out. Sometimes it plays out better than other times. But again, power hour, it was just a total fizzle today. But yeah, that's how she played out today. I'd say overall, it was a really, really nice day. We did something very interesting today, folks. We got down below 400 or 500. We got down below 500 for the first time since February. So it's been 2 months. Now the question begins, what happens? Are we officially in bear market territory? I don't think we're there yet, folks. But if you look at the fear greed index, it says we're in fear right now. We went from extreme greed a week ago. Now we're in fear, where there's just a big sell-off that's going on in a lot of different stocks in the stock market or in the different exchanges. But anyway, that's how she played out today. We never know what's going to happen, but we're going to do it again tomorrow, folks. But that's how we did it today. If you enjoy our videos, please go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way you can be notified when we drop new content, which is just about every day and sometimes on the weekends. Also, don't forget to leave us a comment. We always appreciate the comments. And share with your neighbors. Remember, sharing is caring. Let's spread this thing to the trading community as far and as wide as you can as you can share it, folks. I would greatly appreciate that. Now, if you're interested in live daily trading, so live daily trading every single day, we go over all of these setups, whether I'm trading or not, folks. I'm talking about all of these setups. Okay, well, based on this is a good place to get in. No promises, no guarantees, but based on this looks good, or this looks good, or this looks good. Every single day, folks, from bell to bell. There's a little bit of filler every now and again when things are just not doing a whole lot. But it is market talk all the time, folks. There's no filler. If you are serious about learning to trade or about being better or about marginally getting better every single day, folks, head on over, again, live daily trading day, every single day from market open, actually from 9 o'clock Eastern time until the market closes. So from before bell to the closing bell every single day, folks. If you're interested, head on over to Trading Decoded. It's our trading Discord. The link for that is down below. We're going to give you the first week for free. If you like it, if it is something that you are interested in, great, stick around. If it's not for you, no harm, no foul. Come by, check it out. We've got a trading room. It's called the 920 Trading Room, folks. Every single day, we're trading every single day, folks, from bell to bell. If you're a new person, just raise your hand, say hi. I might even invite you on the mic with me to have a little conversation. At least come check it out, folks, every single day from bell to bell. Now, if you are interested in learning about the 920 strategy, head on over to 920trading.com. All of the information is there, folks. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a super secret strategy that isn't super. It isn't secret. There's no special sauce, folks. There's nothing new, guys. There's nothing new. There might be some new nuances, but there's nothing new, folks. There's nothing new. Head over. You want the strategy? It's yours for the taking. The only thing that's going to take you is a little bit of time. And guess what? We're not going to spam you. I mean, there's no point, but go check it out, folks. But that's how she played out today. We hope everybody had a good day today, but above all else, we hope you followed your trading plan. We're going to do this again tomorrow, folks. We're going to trade tomorrow, and we are going to have an update video tomorrow being Thursday. But again, I hope everybody had a great day. So everybody have a great rest of the day, and we will see you in the markets.